Okay, let's talk about praying. Matthew chapter 6. If you really want to learn to pray the Bible, pray the Word, you should probably start with what Jesus taught us to pray in the first place. Here's what he said, verse 7. When you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans, for they think they will be heard because of their many words. Don't be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Let's break this down. Okay, so he's saying this, when you pray, don't babble like pagans. What he's talking about, 2,000 years ago, a lot of Gentiles, a lot of pagans would pray to their gods, to their false idols, and they would just babble and they would just mindlessly repeat the names of their false idols. And so what Jesus is saying is, don't be like this. Why not? Because of your Father. This isn't just some God. This is your Father. It's a relational word. He says you have a relationship. Don't forget that. When you go to God in prayer, you have a relationship with him. Talk to him like you would talk to anyone that you have a relationship with. And so he says in verse 9, this then is how you should pray. And here's what he said to pray. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Now let's pause here again. Look what he says. Once again, our Father. There those words are again. This is our Father in heaven. We need to respect where he is in relationship to us. He is not just a buddy. He's not just someone there's some cosmic Santa Claus that we call on for our every need. This is someone we revere. Even though we have a relationship, we revere, we worship and praise his name. That's what it says here in verse 9. And here's what we should pray. Verse 10, your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Look at that. Your kingdom come. Do you pray that? Do you pray for God's kingdom to come in your life, in your school, at your workplace, in your home? Do you pray, God, let your kingdom come? And I pray that you if you're a Christian, you should be about what the Father is about. You should be about what Jesus is about. Do you pray that? Do you spend time in prayer praying for the kingdom of God to advance through you, through your church, through what God is doing in your life? If you don't, then you need to begin to pray more like this. Pray for God's kingdom to come. And this is the second thing he says, your will be done on earth as in heaven. Think about how God's will is done in heaven. It is done perfectly. Now think about how his will is done on earth. Imperfectly, right? We don't perfectly carry out God's will. We don't perfectly obey him yet. But we should pray, God, help me to obey you the way I'm going to obey you when I'm in your presence and when I'm perfect. Pray that in your prayer time. And then verse 11, look, these are familiar words in prayer. Give us, give us. But look at what we usually pray for. Give us a better job. Give us better friends. Give us a better house, a better car, whatever. But look at what Jesus said to pray. Give us our daily bread. Maybe we should try praying this. Give us our daily bread. I'm not going to ask for all these great wants. I'm going to rejoice in the needs that you fulfill in my life. I'm not going to be a consumer. I'm going to recognize, God, you're a great giver, and I'm going to be thankful for my daily bread. And then verse 12, he says, forgive us our debts as we have forgiven our debtors. What a great gift that is, forgiveness. We need to come to God and we need to say, God, I want you to shine a spotlight on me from this week. Show me where I need to be forgiven. But look at what's assumed here. It's assumed that we've also forgiven our debtors. So we should come into our prayer times having forgiven the people in our lives already for the wrongs they've done to us, so that we can go to God and say, God, forgive me because I've screwed up in relationship to you. And then look at how he closes it in verse 13. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. And we need to recognize when we go out, this is why one of the reasons we need to pray is because when we go out, it's a spiritual battle. And we need to say, God, you deliver me, you protect me from the evil one. Pray that for yourself, pray that for your kids. Pray this Lord's Prayer. Jesus taught us to. It'll change your prayer life.